start.
Okay.
All right, what I'm going to show you today is how to trace the voltage through the pufferfish as it shows us in the different Google slide presentation. So right now we have our box. We have the power wires connected in here. We have the ammeter and the voltmeter connected. On the other end of our power wires, I have it in the power pole adapter, and I'm going to go ahead and plug it into my power source. So when we go back to the box here, we should see that you have voltage on your voltmeter here. You don't have any loads, so you're not going to have any of your amps showing during this test. You can see where it goes in and out, and that could be from a couple of different things. One, you might not have really tight connections on your wires here. So I'm going to tug on these a little bit, and they seem pretty tough. The one thing I've noticed on this voltmeter and amp meter is that these are really picky connections. So make sure all these connections are tight. You're going to tighten them here with the screws on the different blocks, and then make sure they're connected and tight there. And this one is fairly finicky because it keeps going in and out, so we'll just be nice with it. It's an older model here, but hopefully it'll work. Okay, so on our presentation it says what you want to do is test with your multimeter. We have our multimeter here. I have my black into my comm, my red over here into volts. I want to put it on volts DC, so that's the second volt over here with the line and the 3 dots underneath it. In the presentation it shows you how you can set it up to the power source, of which we don't have that kind. We have this other kind here, or you can go straight into where the ground is on your power wires into your box. So I'm going to go ahead and put this black lead on here. What it's telling us to do next is to test all these different points A through E and see what we have on our voltmeter. So the first one it's going to test is right here onto the red lead going in. When I put both of those on there, if you look at the multimeter, we have a good connection. It's 12.64 volts. So that's good. We've got power coming into our box. The next thing it wants us to test is into our ammeter here. And it shows 3 different leads, but you really just need to test into this middle one here. And when we have that on there, it's testing at 12.6 volts. So we have voltage going into there. We can double check that it's still working on the other end. And yeah, it's still working on this end, so that's good. The next one it tells us to do is to point C here, which is our voltmeter. So I'm going to keep the black lead over here, take this red lead and put it over on top of the red part here. And we have 12 volts along here. So that one is going well. What it tells us to do is also check our aux power. We're not really using aux power. It's if you're putting on a camera. So we'll go ahead and test it, but it's not going to matter if it's not working. So it's asking us to put it over into this positive lead, and it doesn't look like we have a good connection on there. So our aux power on this particular one is not working. Oh, there it is. 12 volts now, so it just took a minute for it to get a good reading. So we've got 12 volts, so that's working. On E, it's asking us, I don't know if you can see the screen with the camera, to look at it with the switches, just the pin connectors. So I'm not going to do that point right now. I'll do it in a minute when I take the box apart. What it does show us though is we can go off of these terminal blocks here for our motors. And what we'll want to do on that is to activate our switches to see if we've got voltage coming out when we move our switches. So we want to make sure that we have the voltage. So what I'm going to do is ask my camera person to hold the black lead there. And what I'm going to do is go with the red lead, and I'm going to move the switches in different directions. So this is for motor 2, and I'm going to move the switch, and we'll look over here and see. Let's try the other direction. And let me see, I'm not maybe on switch 2. Let's try it again. Yeah, leave the black lead on there. So this is a little bit of gymnastics. So you can see here that it says 12.6 volts on the multimeter, and I'm pushing it down right now, and my red light is on. What I'll do next is push it up and move my red lead over here to the other part, and I should get 12.6 volts there, and my green light is on the other side. So let me try and move over to this next one. This says motor block 3. I'm going to go ahead, push this one. Let me turn it in one direction here. Let me put it in this direction here. So let's see here, I've got motor block 3. I'm pushing it on the top part of it, and I've got 12.6 volts. What I'll do next is push it in the down direction and move it over to here, and I've got 12.59 volts. So that one is working. And then the last one I'm going to test over here is the top left-hand motor. I'm going to go ahead and push it in the up direction here. Move it to the right connector, and my light is green, and it's taking them. Oh no, that's still millivolts, so maybe I'm on the wrong connector here. Let's see, we got everything connected there, and let me try it again. This one. Let's see, do we still have that connected good there? Alright, so let me try it again here. It's not giving me a reading on that one. Maybe it's this block over here. There we go. So it's 12.9. When I move it in the other direction, the light's going to go on red, and it's 12.59 volts here. So that's how we do that testing to make sure that we have voltage going through our box here. I will take this apart and then show you how to do E.